Well, Durud, everyone, and welcome to tonight's evening edition of The Goldie Show. And yes, we are starting a little bit late. That's because I'm currently on the road traveling. So, of course, I'm not able to live stream at my usual regular time. However, I have made a commitment to live stream every day, as much as I can while I'm on the road, to give you the latest, not the news, because we have amazing people who are giving the latest breaking news. We have Tusi, for example, and Tusi literally like doing God's work with the latest breaking news. But of course, the purpose of the Goldie Show is for me to take the breaking news and analyze it, provide my analysis as a former Canadian politician, a geopolitical expert on the Middle East, and of course, human rights activist. And the whole purpose of the Goldie Show is to take everything that's going on, give you my analysis, and of course, translate political speak into English so that all of you are able to follow along as well and to get a better understanding of what is happening in the Middle East, especially with the conflict between the United States and the Islamic regime. Just a housekeeping rule: if you are looking for information about the yes, also the Durka translator. Yes, absolutely. So I'm also here to translate Durka, which, pretty much every Iranian is an expert in translating Durka because, we have been dealing with these Muslim Nazi terrorists for the last 47 years. Now, just a quick housekeeping rule. If you are looking for information about what's happening in occupied Iran, the Iranian people and their fight for freedom against the Islamic regime, definitely check out my live streams, Iran Revolution Live, because that focuses exclusively on the Iranian people's fight. But of course, the Goldie Show is my geopolitical analysis where I do a deep dive into all the politics that's happening. And I have a feeling that tonight is going to be a bit of a longer show because there is a lot going on. There is a lot going on. I want to do a deep dive into Marco Rubio's statements today. I want to talk about President Trump's statements. I also want to talk about the attacks by the attacks by the United States against the IRGC, and I'm going to kind of do a breakdown of where the United States is attacking and why. So, as always, let me know where you are watching from. If you're watching in the live stream, let me know in the live stream chat. If you're watching this video afterwards, let me know in the video description afterwards. So, before we get started, so, again, guys, as you can tell, I'm not in my usual location, but that's okay because as long as I have my laptop and my webcam, and of course, my Iran flag, because I never go anywhere without having my Iran flag with me. As long as I have my laptop, internet connection, and my Iran flag, I'm here to give you my analysis. And I really do appreciate all of your support and and accommodating me with sort of my low tech based, low tech situation right now, which is going to go on for maybe about like another week and a half. But I'll be back in my usual location in about a couple of weeks. So just want to thank you all for being patient with me and my, low tech situation right now. So, let's get started. Now, before I get to the breaking news and the footage, I'm going to start off with sort of a summary of what has happened in the last 24 hours, okay? Because the strikes, the strikes by the United States against the Islamic regime have escalated, and they have escalated almost exponentially, right? Like it is insane. The reports that we are getting from people in occupied Iran, guys, we have never ever seen anything like this in the 47-year history of the Islamic regime occupying Iran. We have never ever seen this level of boom booms. Okay, so I want to start off by giving just a quick overview of what has happened. And then I want to get into Marco Rubio's statements today, because Marco Rubio's statements are incredibly telling. So let me just get started with this analysis. And while I'm doing this, why don't I pull up? You know what? Actually, you know what? I'll just, we'll keep it low tech tonight. We will keep it low tech. So here we go. I've made some notes, prepared some notes for you guys. So I'm just going to read off of my notes, and then I'm going to get into some breaking news updates, some video footage, of course, Marco Rubio. And then, as always, I will get to your questions, comments, and super chats at the towards the end of the live stream. So let me start off by saying, President Trump today said that he is considering a very, very large attack on the Islamic regime, an attack unlike anything that has taken place before. Okay, so basically, President Trump is saying that everything that we have seen so far, this is not even what he's planning on doing. Like basically, what we've seen so far is like the pre-show. Okay, it's the pre-show, and we haven't even seen the main event yet. Okay, now earlier tonight, the 13th night of U.S. bombardments against military facilities belonging to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, but not just the IRGC, also the Atatish. Okay, now let me just pull this up for you. Let me pull up my boom boom bingo sheet for you guys really quickly. Okay, so if we go to our boom boom bingo sheet, you can see here that you have in this square here, okay, you have the IRGC. Let me just turn off the comments momentarily so that you guys can see this better, okay? And I'll bring back the comments after I'm done. So here you have the IRGC, and you have the Atatish, the army. Now keep in mind, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, right? So here's the thing. A lot of people, a lot of like so-called Western analysts or experts on, Iran, right? Whenever they say IRGC, they call it the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. But that's actually incorrect, because the I does not stand for Iran. The I stands for Islamic, okay? Like the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, okay? Look at this. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, that's the official name, okay? And even in the official logo of the Muslim Nazis, it says Sepah Pastaran Enqilab Islami. This is really important, right? So, the when the Muslim Nazis occupied Iran in 1979, they literally created it's almost like like the Muslim version of like the Gestapo, right? So there is no reference, like even in the logo of the IRGC, there's no reference to Iran, okay? It's all reference to Islam. This says Allah, right? Because this is referring to their, their god, Allah. And of course, Sepah Pastaran Enqilab Islami, Islam, of course, right? So there is nothing about the IRGC that is Iranian. The IRGC is actually anti-Iranian. The IRGC was created by the Islamic regime to protect the Islamic coup d'etat from the Iranian people. Okay, so going back to our boom boom bingo sheet, anytime that you see like an analyst or an expert or whatever, if they refer to the IRGC as the Iranian Revolution Guard Corps, whatever, that is basically a signal to you and a sign to you that that person does not know what they're talking about. Because anyone who's done their research and their intel, they know that the I, it does not stand for Iran, it stands for Islam. That's really important. Okay, so that's the first tell. But here's the thing. What's interesting is that now not only is the United States going after the IRGC, but they're now starting to go after the army, the Artish. And that's important because the Artish, their commanders, a lot of them have have been replaced with people who are loyal to the Islamic regime. And the reason that when the Islamic regime took over in 1979, they pretty much murdered all of the top Artish commanders in all the various, divisions, whether it was like the military or the Navy or the Air Force or, whatever the case might be. They murdered them and then they replaced them with their own Durkas who are supportive of the Islamic regime, is because that's how they have, tried to prevent a coup d'etat, like a military coup d'etat, for the military to, um, uh, you know, uh, fight against the IRGC, right? So that's important. That's like sort of some historical context. However, now, today, we're getting reports that not only has the United States gone after the IRGC, right? But now they're going after, oops, sorry guys, they're going after the Artish, the army as well. Okay, so earlier tonight, U.S. bombardments against military facilities belonging not only to the IRGC, but also to the army began in southern Iran. And if we go to CENTCOM, okay, so let me just pull up the post from CENTCOM. Okay, so CENTCOM posted about 4 hours ago. U.S. forces started another night of strikes against Iranian military targets at 6:45 p.m. Eastern today. This is the 13th consecutive night of strikes aimed to hold Iran, they mean the Islamic regime, accountable and diminish threats from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps to commercial shipping. Guys, do you see that? So CENTCOM is using the proper name, right? So CENTCOM is saying they are trying to diminish threats from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Okay? So again, going back to our Boom Boom Bingo sheet, IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, because the IRGC is really who is in control in occupied Iran right now. Okay, so CENTCOM posted this a few hours ago, and I'm very, very thankful to CENTCOM for writing out the full name of the IRGC because that is very, very important, right? So there you go. So the strikes have been intensifying. Now, here's what is interesting for you guys to know. So, in one of the first attacks carried out tonight, multiple explosions occurred in Ahvaz and in Omidyeh, where the 5th Tactical Air Base is located. Now, if you guys recall, Ahvaz, okay, Ahvaz is the city that I was born in. I'm literally from Ahvaz, okay? The vast majority of my family, my friends, whatever, like, are in Ahvaz. Okay? So, if you look at this map of Iran, this is the province or, state, whatever you want to call it, province or state of Khuzestan. And this is Ahvaz up here. I was actually born in Ahvaz, right? So yeah, this is like my area, my people. And fun fact, Ahvaz is a city that's like 2,000 years old. Well, modern day Ahvaz, here's the thing. Modern day Ahvaz is 2,000 years old, but the city itself is like even older. It's like 3,000, 4,000 years old, right? So I'm from Ahvaz, and what I can tell you is that the reports that I'm getting from my contacts in Ahvaz are absolutely wild. Okay, so what my contacts in Ahvaz are saying is that tonight, so keep in mind it's the 13th night, and the strikes in Ahvaz have been going on for 13 nights, okay? So it's been nonstop. However, what my contacts in Ahvaz are saying is that tonight the explosions were even like more intense and they were more loud. However, um, all of the explosions occurred far from the city itself. So the rumor right now, this is unconfirmed, but the rumor is that apparently the United States targeted a secret underground missile city that has been built somewhere close to Ahvaz because when the boom booms were happening, okay, like like one boom boom would happen, but then there would be multiple explosions, right? So those multiple explosions are leading many people in Ahvaz to believe that the Americans have targeted an underground missile city that was built close to Ahvaz. And, I just want to say for everyone in the comments and, the live stream chat who are sending prayers to my family and, hoping that everyone is safe, all I can say is that as of this moment, my family is safe. The people of Ahvaz are safe. People who are asking, is my family there? I mean, again, like yes, like my extended family, the vast majority of them are in Ahvaz. Now, I have not communicated with them in like over 10 years. Like I've literally cut communications and I've cut ties with all of them for over 10 years because I'm speaking out against the Islamic regime. So I don't speak with anyone. Like I literally, like, I haven't even spoken to my grandmother in like 15 years, right? Because I'm speaking out against the Islamic regime. So I've just cut ties with everyone. So I don't communicate with them. But yes, the vast majority of my family is in Ahvaz. But from what I've heard from, my sources and contacts, and my sources and contacts are not my family, my sources and contacts are like the Iranian freedom fighters, right? Everyone in Ahvaz is fine because the United States is not targeting civilian infrastructure, they're targeting IRGC bases, right? So the reports that we're getting are that the boom booms around Ahvaz are intensifying. And the reaction that I'm getting from my contacts in Ahvaz is that they are like, they're in shock. They're in shock because um, these are people who have lived in Ahvaz their entire lives. And no one knew about the existence of a potential underground missile facility close to Ahvaz, right? Because the Islamic regime, like, they protect everything, right? If you get close to a base or a facility, they will literally arrest you and put you in jail, right? However, the fact that these insane boom booms have been happening tonight, the people in Ahvaz, like, they're in shock. They're not in shock at the United States boom booming. They're in shock about the fact that the Islamic regime for the last, let's say 20 years, have been secretly building an underground missile city close to Ahvaz, and no one knew about it. Literally, no one knew about this, right? So there you go. Um, so people in Ahvaz think that apparently, now we have to, like, wait for confirmation, but apparently a missile city, an underground missile city, may have been targeted because the sounds of multiple explosions are coming from areas outside of Ahvaz. Okay. Now, what would a potential underground missile city look like? Well, here you go. Here you go. Okay. Um, here's a good video. So this is what the missile cities look like. Okay, so now this, I don't know if this is the one in Ahvaz, but I mean the missile cities are all pretty much the same, right? So when we talk about these underground secret missile cities, this is what we're talking about. So just watch this video. Why did you start it? Why did you start it? You know what really upsets me is that the Islamic regime has literally spent trillions of dollars, okay? Trillions of dollars in the last 20, 30 years. They've spent trillions of dollars building these underground missile cities, and yet the Iranian people are poor. 70% of Iranian people live below the poverty line because the Islamic regime spends all of the money on terrorism, on underground missile facilities. Okay. And then at the same time, while they're literally spending trillions of dollars building underground missile facilities, they and their, propagandists will claim that the Iranian people are poor because of US sanctions. Really? Iranian people are not poor because of US sanctions, because US sanctions don't sanction civilian things. The US sanctions specifically target military stuff, okay? The reason that Iranian people are poor is because the Islamic regime, for the last 20 or 30 years, has spent trillions of dollars on Islamic terrorism, on jihad, right? So ask yourself this question. How can a country that claims it is poor, right? It claim like it literally like the Muslim Nazis literally blame the United States for the Iranian people being poor, and yet those same Muslim Nazis are building underground missile cities all across the country that are worth trillions and trillions of dollars, right? So the only reason that the Iranian people are poor is because of the Islamic regime, because instead of investing that money into Iran and the Iranian people, they're instead investing it in jihad and Islam and Hamas and Houthis and Hezbollah and their underground jihadi terrorist facilities, right? This is where the Iranian people's money goes. By the way, guys, you know this one. Guys, who knows the name of this missile? Pop quiz time. Iranians, you can't answer this question. What's the name of this missile? It's oh okay, the crayon is the oh okay, there you go. You know what? You know what? Um nope. You know what? Jabe got it. Jabe got it. So the crayon is the nickname, but Jabe got it. So even though Jabe didn't spell it correctly, that's hard. That's hard, but you got it. It's the Khorramshahr. It's the Khorramshahr missile. So there you go. It's Khorramshahr. Khorramshahr. But yes, this is the pointy missile, right? So guys, everyone, um, put a J in the chat for Jabe, because Jabe got it, right? Guys, we have such a high IQ chat. Like, you guys are absolutely amazing. So, of course, I did not forget push-ups. If you're here, if you're watching, push-ups, you get a 100% pass on this one. So push-ups also gets a 100% because of the research that they did. But yes, so this pointy missile that the Islamic regime is showing here, that's their jihadi crayon, right? So let me pull up the video that the Islamic regime had of their like jihadi crayon, right? Here, let me find it so that you guys can see it. Here you go. Okay, so this is the pointy missile. There you go. So yes, Jabe, it's the Khorramshahr. Um, You had it almost correct, except I would say after the S, just put an H and you have it. But Jabe, 100%, you get A plus. You get A plus on this pop quiz because, guys, let's be honest, for non-Iranians, remembering all these names is kind of challenging, right? Like Khorramshahr. Khorramshahr is kind of hard to pronounce in English, right? So there you go, there you go. But yeah, but you guys are right. That was a pointy Crayola missile, and so that's like the pointy Crayola missile that the Durkas are showing off as part of their underground city facilities. Okay, now that's basically okay. So we don't know yet. We don't know yet because we don't have confirmation. However, the rumors are that the United States have attacked a secret underground missile city that's full of these, oh my gosh, this is so good. Ayatollah Crayolas. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's like insulting Crayola, but that is actually a really, really smart name. Yeah. So the Ayatollah Crayolas, right? But so apparently there was like an underground missile facility targeted there. But again, this was outside of the city. So once again, the Americans, right, they're not targeting civilian infrastructure. They're literally targeting IRGC bases. Okay. Now, let me continue with my analysis a little bit. So here's the thing. Why are the Americans, okay, attacking this area? So going back to the map, why are the Americans specifically focusing heavily on this particular area, Ahvaz and Khuzestan and all of the IRGC bases here? Well, the reason that the United States is focusing on this particular area is because this area is used for attacks on Kuwait. So remember, Kuwait is right here. See, like this tiny little area, that's Kuwait. So this right here, this is the border, okay? This is the border between Iran and Iraq, okay? So this right here, this is Iraq. And this tiny little area is Kuwait. So that's why I believe the United States is focusing heavily on the Ahvaz and Khuzestan. Khuzestan is a province, that the area, because this is where all of the attacks against Kuwait come from. Okay, so during the past 12 or 15 hours, the Islamic regime has been attacking Kuwait. Now, the Islamic regime also attacked a border station between Iraq and Kuwait. Now, we don't exactly know if this attack on the border station between Iraq and Kuwait happened directly by the Islamic regime or if it happened through one of their proxy forces like Hashd-e-Shabi, right? Because the Hashd-e-Shabi, which is an Islamic regime proxy force, by the way, guys, Hashd-e-Shabi is also one of those terrorist proxy forces that are responsible for planning the God, thank God, the foiled assassination attempt on Ivanka Trump, right? So remember the Durka jihadi that the FBI arrested, right, for planning the assassination of Ivanka Trump, President Trump's daughter. He was an Iraqi, and he was part of the one of the terrorist proxy forces of the Islamic regime. I can't remember if it was Hashd-e-Shabi or Kataib Hezbollah. It doesn't matter. They're all Durkas. They're all garbage. They're all basically part of, the Islamic regime's proxy forces, right? And keep in mind, one of President Trump's terms, right? So when President Trump talks about the deal with the Islamic regime, one of the terms of that deal is for the Islamic regime to stop funding its terrorist proxy groups like Hashd Shabi, Kataib Hezbollah, and others. However, the Islamic regime refuses to agree to that term because the Islamic regime literally relies on its, jihadi terrorist Durka proxy forces in Iraq to attack the United States, right? So they literally use their proxies to attack the United States. So that's why the Islamic regime refuses to stop funding their Durka terrorist groups in Iraq. And by the way, those same terrorist groups are also oppressing the original people of Iraq, right? So like we're talking about the Assyrians and the Chaldeans, right? Like the original people of Iraq who are not Arab, right? So like Assyrian people and Chaldeans, they're not Arab. Their roots go back to Babylon and Mesopotamia. They are being oppressed and occupied by the Arab Muslim Nazi invaders as well. So there you go. So that's why, I think that the United States is heavily, heavily attacking this area. And let me actually show you footage now of the border attack. Okay, so literally Shin posted this 17 hours ago. Explosions at the Iraq Kuwait border. Okay, now here is the footage. So there's this. So someone took an image. So between the border crossing between Iraq and Kuwait, that so this is the Islamic regime, and the Islamic regime literally sent missiles to attack the border crossing between Iraq and Kuwait. This is not a legitimate military target. Like ask yourself, why is the Islamic regime attacking the border crossing between Iraq and Kuwait? Okay, and here you go. So fire and a smoke seen on the Kuwaiti side of the Iraq-Kuwait border. Okay, and there you go. So that's like the satellite imagery. So this is like the fire and smoke. And then you can you can geolocate things based on the lines. So this purple line here corresponds to this purple square. This blue square corresponds to this square. And then you have this, green line, which corresponds to this green square, right? So that's how they were able to geolocate this. And then, of course, Kuwait, so the Kuwaiti army, 15 hours ago, they also confirmed hostile UAV attack on the Abdali border crossing, material damage, right? So, guys, the only one who's sending hostile attacks to Kuwait is the Islamic regime, right? So that's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Now, at the same time, the U.S. was striking Konarak. Okay, they were striking IRGC bases in Konarak. Now, where is Konarak? Let me pull up this map for you. So, Konarak is right here. So, you see this little like U-shaped area? This is Chabahar. Konarak is this little tip right there. So it's literally right opposite from Chabahar. So Konarak, and of course all of these like bases here in the southern part of Iran, they're all basically sort of the main areas of where the IRGC operates, especially when it comes to their terrorism and the piracy in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, and of course the Sea of Macron, right? So, 15 hours ago, Shin confirmed that the United States is booming Konarak, which is this little tip right here. Now, let's continue. Then President Trump confirmed, and he gave a little bit of explanation about this so-called enrichment deal with Saudi Arabia. Now, if you recall, yesterday, when I was doing a media interview, I was asked about this. Okay, I was asked about this, and basically, like, it was based off of President Trump's earlier statement, which he's, apparently, I don't even know if it was a statement, I can't recall, but like, the question kind of caught me off guard, and it was like, President Trump is now, giving Saudis the permission to enrich uranium. What do you think about that? And I basically said, like, I don't think that's a good idea, because why does Saudi need enriched uranium? They're literally like one of the most oil rich countries in the world, right? They already have enough energy, so they don't need to enrich uranium. They can literally afford to buy whatever it is they need for nuclear purposes. And I even said, I was like, I don't think that anyone should trust them to enrich uranium when they're literally sending a delegation to Khamenei's funeral, right? Now, what's interesting is that President Trump came out with a statement today, and he clarified what he was talking about, right? So President Trump says the civil nuclear deal, and then he says there will be no enrichment of material being made between the United States Department of Energy and Saudi Arabia, which pertains only to non-military use, such as the ones that Iran and the UAE and others already have, will be approved. But here's the catch. But it is totally subject to Saudi Arabia joining the very respected and successful Abraham Accords. Basically, President Trump is saying that if Saudi Arabia wants to, you know, build nuclear plants for peaceful purposes, they have to first sign the peace deal with Israel. Okay? The United States is not opposed to civil, non-enriched nuclear facilities. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Here's the thing. I don't think that Saudi Arabia is going to sign the Abraham Accords. I don't see it happening. I don't. I literally don't. Because if you recall, I think it was maybe a month ago, President Trump had some other statement, and then he was like, you know what? Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up, because this is amazing. This is actually really good. And when President Trump made that statement back then, I was like, okay, like, there's no way this is happening, right? Let me pull it up. It was such a good statement. And everyone was freaking out, and I was like, guys, this is insane, because President Trump is putting all of these, like, Durka jihadi countries on the spot. Okay? Let me find it. So good. So good. Here we go. Okay, it was this one. It was this one. It was this one. Look at this, guys. So President Trump posted this. When was this? Okay, so May 25. Okay, let me share this with you. So on May 25, President Trump posted, negotiations with the Islamic Republic of Iran are proceeding nicely. It will only be a great deal for all or no deal at all. Back to the battlefront and shooting, but bigger and stronger than before. And nobody wants that. During my discussions on Saturday with, MBS of Saudi Arabia, MBZ of the UAE, the terrorists from Qatar, the terrorists from Pakistan, the jihadis from Turkey, and of course, what else? Like, LCC from Egypt, iffy there. King Abdullah of Jordan, again, iffy. And King Hamad bin whatever of Bahrain, again iffy. And then President Trump continues, I stated that after all the work done by the United States to try and pull this very complex puzzle together, it should be mandatory. Here's the part. It should be mandatory that all of these countries, at a minimum, simultaneously sign on to the Abraham Accords. Those countries discussed are Saudi Arabia, the UAE, already a member, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, and Bahrain, already a member. It may be possible that one or two have a reason for not doing so, and that will be accepted. But most should be ready, willing, and able to make the settlement with Iran a far more historic event than it would otherwise be. So, literally, like 2 months ago, President Trump was putting all of these like Durka jihadi countries on notice that if you want the support and allyship of the United States, you have to officially recognize Israel as a country. And if you recall, literally immediately, like Pakistan, the Pakistani government being like, the garbage terrorist, Durkas that they came out and they were like, we will never recognize Israel. That is against Pakistan's foreign policy. Yeah, well, you know what? Pakistan is literally one of the fakest countries in the world, but we're not going to get into that. So, going back to the current statement from President Trump, okay, so now, where's the post? Wait, where's my post from President Trump? Here we go. So now, going back to this post from President Trump, right? Like he's basically saying to the Saudis, if you want American help to, build nuclear facilities, you have to formally recognize Israel as a country. Okay? Now keep in mind, in the last few months, there have been a lot of people who have been attacking President Trump and accusing him of throwing Israel under the bus. Okay? That's because these people, they're short-sighted. Okay? They're short-sighted. They don't have the political knowledge or experience to understand the long game. Okay? So they just, they look at a statement, they take it out of context, and then they're like, oh no, President Trump hates Israel. President Trump is siding with Qatar or whatever. Really? Are you serious right now? Do you actually think that President Trump is so short-sighted that he's going to be fooled by a bunch of, I don't know, jihadi Durkas from the Middle East? Keep in mind, everyone needs to remember this really important fact. President Trump did not run for office because he needs the money or the prestige. President Trump ran for office because he truly believes that he wants and he will make America great again. Okay? President Trump is a threat to the global system and the global world order because he is so rich that he can't be bought off, right? Like, he doesn't need the money. He didn't run for office because he needs the money, right? Unlike all the other, presidents who rely on donors and funding and whatever, President Trump doesn't need that. Remember, he's not even getting, like, he's literally giving away his salary as president, right? Like, he's not even getting paid. He's so rich that he's literally doing the job of the president for free, okay? For free. So he literally cannot be bought. And yet all these people are like, "Oh no, President Trump is being like bribed by blah blah blah." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? The guy who's literally so rich that he's giving away his salary as president, right?" And all those people who are attacking President Trump, and they're like, "Oh no, Trump is throwing Israel under the bus and blah blah blah." Boom! Look at this! Look at this! And remember, this is the moment. This is the moment where we need the hashtag, guys. What's the hashtag? I don't want to brag. I don't want to brag, but what's the hashtag? What's the hashtag? There we go. There we go. Nathaniel. Yep. I mean, sure, sure, free rose. Okay, fine. That one, fine. But yeah, there you go. There you go. Guys, I told you. I told you. President Trump is not throwing Israel under the bus because Israel is, right now, Israel is pretty much the only reliable ally that the United States has. And I told you guys, there is a long game. I don't know what the long game is, but whenever it reveals itself, it will reveal itself. And now here it is, right? Because President Trump is openly calling out Saudi Arabia. And this is the thing about Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia is, viewed within the Muslim world as sort of the leader, right? Because of course, Islam comes from Saudi Arabia, and Muhammad the warlord, he was Saudi Arabian. So Islam comes from Saudi Arabia. Before they colonized all these other countries. So a lot of, like, pretty much the entire Muslim world views Saudi Arabia as the leaders, right? So if Saudi Arabia were to sign the Abraham Accords, that essentially means that the entire Muslim world has signed the Abraham Accords, because Saudi Arabia, birthplace of Islam, whatever, all that stuff, right? So President Trump knows exactly what he's doing. Now, I don't know if Saudi Arabia is going to sign the deal or not, because on like Saudi Arabian Durka news, right? But their Durka news is in Arabic, but I've had a lot of people who've translated it, right? The tactic of the Saudi Arabians, right? When they're speaking to their like Durka jihadi followers who hate Israel, their tactic and strategy has been, guys, like, we might not conquer, Israel today, but let's just focus on increasing our influence around the world. And then in 100 years, we can conquer Israel, because in 100 years, we have gained so much influence around the world that, we can convince and influence Western governments. Okay. Why do you think Saudi Arabia is investing billions of dollars in American universities to infiltrate young Americans, right? Think about that. Um, Whenever you hear about like Muslim countries in the Middle East investing millions or billions of dollars in universities in the United States, that's a red flag because they are playing the long game. Okay. They're playing the long game. Their goal is to slowly um, indoctrinate people so that within 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, those people become the majority. And then, when they do go after Israel, eventually, because that is literally their plan, when they eventually go after Israel, um, they've already indoctrinated so many people in the West that those people will be like, yeah, like destroy Israel, blah, 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 right? Like that's their plan. That's literally their 100-year plan. Um, so President Trump is now calling out Saudi Arabia. But, here's the thing. I don't know if they're going to sign or not. It's 50-50. It's 50-50. However, what I will say is that even if Saudi Arabia does sign this and was like, "Oh, you know what? Sure, fine. Let's do a peace deal with Israel." Um that peace deal that they're signing will be 100% Takia. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. If they sign it, like for some crazy reason, if they actually do sign it, it will be Takia. But this is important, okay? And this kind of goes back to President Trump putting all of these Durka countries on the spot. So that's what I want to share about that particular post. Now, Shin continues. Okay, so U.S. strike on a telecoms site in Shalomche killed Captain Amir Mohammad Salemi. Good. I'm glad. You know what? God bless the United States for sending this Durka jihadi to hell where he belongs because he had an opportunity to defect. He had an opportunity to stand with the Iranian people. And by the way, His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi, he warned all of these people. He said, do not risk your lives defending a Muslim Nazi occupation. Defect, stay home, take the side of the Iranian people. This, Muslim Nazi refused to do so. And you know what? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right? Literally, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It reminds me of that song. I think it was a song that Ridvan had, right? Let me see if I can find it. You know what? I have it somewhere on my playlist. Let me find it because this is literally like the, you want like a perfect example of FAFO. This is the perfect example of FAFO. So, do I feel sorry for this Durka? No, because he is a traitor to Iran. He chose to support the Muslim Nazi occupation over the Iranian people. So, you know what? Actions have consequences, and, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right? I mean, I don't that's literally it, right? Like this guy is defending the murderers of the Iranian people. Let me find the song by the way because it's such a good song. Where was it? It's such a good one. I'm going to find it here guys because I've been going for about an hour. I need a little bit like of a quick break, but I will be back. Let me just find it though, because it's so good. Here we go. Not it. That's not it. Let's find it. Hmm. Wait. Okay, you know what? It is this one. It is this one. Okay, no, it is this one. So it's this one, it's on my playlist. So let's just enjoy the song momentarily. I'm gonna take a quick like 2-minute break and then I'll be back to continue the live stream with the latest breaking news. But yeah, like play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So I'm glad that Muslim Durka is dead. So see you guys in 2 minutes.
Ayatollah Khamenei is dead. مرگ بر خامنه ای بر خامنه ای بر خامنه. Chanted death to America for decades on the mic, while beating girls, hanging men, massacring the rights. Tens of thousands vanished in your prisons deep. Wives and sons still weeping, but you lost no sleep. Proxy wasn't missiles, resistance was the brand, but missiles flew in faster than your fancy could stand. You were evil, not the West. Revenge is here, no time to rest. Stupid games, stupid prizes. The butcher vaporizes. Mark by Khamenei. The mullahs on their knees. Asia police beating bullets into peace. Human rights crushed, blood all over the place. You used terror, starved your people thin, but bombs wiped out your dirty grave. Your empire's in ashes. Supreme liar crashes. Death to Khamenei. Iran rises from its knees. Stupid games, stupid prizes. The butcher vaporizes. Marked by Khamenei. The mullahs on their knees. 86 years of lies and chains, now Tehran parties in the flames. From Khomeini to you, the same old deadly game, but fall finally came. Marg bar Khamenei, Marg bar Khamenei, Marg bar Khamenei, Marg bar Khamenei. Marg bar Khamenei, Marg bar Khamenei, Marg bar Khamenei. Forever! Stupid games, stupid prizes. The butcher vaporizes. Mark by Khamenei. The mullahs on their knees. Your empire's in ashes. Supreme liar crashes. Death to Khamenei. Iran rises from its knees.
There we go. So, yeah, just a quick intermission because I've been literally live streaming nonstop, but happy to do it. So, yeah, so going back to um, the news about this Durka jihadi garbage terrorist. Where is it? Where is he? Here you are. So, Khabar Margish, right? Khabar Margish. Yeah, you know what? FAFO. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So, this Durka was exterminated, right? Again, like His Royal Highness, the Shah of Iran, Reza Pahlavi II, he said, he's warned these people. He's like, if you want to preserve your lives, stay at home. Do not risk your lives for the Islamic regime that is literally murdering our people every day. Now, this is interesting. So, President Trump is now um, not only speaking about the IRGC, but he's speaking about the Houthis as well. And remember, the Houthis are one of the terrorist proxy groups of the Islamic regime. And President Trump posted today, a year ago, the United States of America attacked very powerfully the Houthis for their interference with commerce and trade by shooting at ships. Oh my gosh. Okay, so guys, I know that in my live streams, like I'll do my analysis and updates, and then at the end of my live stream, I will go to the super chats, questions, and comments. But I just saw this one comment, and I just want to share it because this is so nice. This is so kind, and like it's basically stuff like this that kind of keeps me motivated. So I just want to share this really briefly, and then I'll continue. But so I/Church Cafe says, God bless and keep you. Much love and many blessings from Texas. Thank you so much. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you so much. Means so much to me. God bless you. God bless America. God bless President Trump. We're all fighting against the same evil, the Islamic regime. And you guys have no idea how much it means, not just to me, but to all the Iranian people, especially Iranian people who are in occupied Iran. Whenever we, get these messages from Americans, it just it makes us feel seen and heard. You know what I mean? Because for 47 years, the Muslim Nazis who have been occupying us were trying to convince the world, and especially convince Americans and Israelis, that we hate you, that all that like jihadi garbage Durka stuff, right? Um, and that's how they kept us hostage, because prior to the invention of social media and the internet, they controlled the narrative. So for a very long time, a lot of people thought that we hated America and we hated Israel, but we literally never did. Because before the Muslim invasion of Iran, Iran was one of the strongest allies of the United States. And so, messages like this gives all of us energy, because after 47 years of feeling, of being isolated because the Islamic regime controlled the narrative, um, because of internet and social media and X and YouTube and all of this, we finally have a voice, and we're finally able to um, share the truth about Iran, and we're finally able to share with all of you the horrifying reality that we have lived in for the last 47 years. So, thank you so much, Church Cafe. Thank you for your prayers. Means so much to me. Thank you for praying for me and everyone else. I always appreciate prayers. Um, just and especially Christianity, such a beautiful religion, such a beautiful religion, right? Christianity is all about love and loving your neighbors and tolerance and Jesus Christ dying for our sins, right? Like just everything about Christianity is beautiful. It's about and I'm saying this, I'm not even Christian, okay? I'm not even Christian, but Christianity, so beautiful. It's about love and peace and, respecting your neighbors and just, celebrating life and, all of that, beautiful, wonderful stuff, right? Like Christianity is like, you know, be a good person. God loves you, okay? That's, in it, like if I was going to compare Christianity to Islam, right? Um, yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, like, like, yeah, unlike Islam, right? Like Newton, like this is exactly it, right? So Christianity is all about love, right? It's like love your neighbors. If you want to go to heaven, be a good person. If you want to go to heaven, help others, make the world a better place, right? Whereas in Islam, it's like you want to go to heaven, blow up the infidel, right? Like that's literally the difference. The literal difference, right? Like Christianity is a religion of peace and love, and Islam is like a death cult that is like, "La, la, 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 la," right? Like blow up people so that you can go and get 72 virgins, right? Like it's that's the comparison, and that's actually one of the reasons why Christianity is the fastest growing religion in occupied Iran. But it's happening underground because of course in Islam, the crime for leaving Islam is death, right? So the crime of apostasy is death. So yeah, any Iranian who leaves Islam and converts to Christianity, they're literally at risk of being executed. So welcome to Islam, right? Like I can't think of any other modern day religion, right? And I'm saying religion because there are cults, right? Like there are literally cults out there where if you leave the cult, they murder you. But I can't think of any modern day religion where if you leave the religion, they murder you or they hang you, right? Only cults do that. So that's why we say that the Islamic regime is a cult, okay? Like just try and leave Islam and see what happens to you. Yeah, exactly, right? Um so, even though I'm not Christian, I love the whole concept of Christianity. I love the ideas. I love the values. I think it's a beautiful religion. And, like I have so much respect and love for Christianity. Actually, one of my favorite memories as a politician is during Christmas time I would always be invited to like church services, right? So I would be invited to attend like a local church service for Christmas or Easter or oh gosh, like um the Palm Friday. I apologize, guys. Don't hold me for this, but like all the major sort of Christianity events, and I would go. Like I would go and I would attend. I would go to various churches, whether it was like a Catholic church or Anglican or Presbyterian or United or whatever. Yeah, Palm Sunday, that was the one. Like I would be invited to go, and honestly, like it was an honor. It was an honor for me to go. And, every time I enter a church, um, it's just such a peaceful feeling, right? Like you enter a church and it's just like, it's just peace and beauty and calm. Um, Especially as like a non-Christian, like you just go in and you feel so welcome. You feel so welcome, right? Yeah. Try going into a mosque as a non-Muslim and see how they treat you, right? Oh, there you go. But yeah. that's why, like, so much love and respect for Christians, and Christianity, the values and ideals of Christianity. They have a lot in common with Zoroastrianism and many other religions as well. So yeah, just wanted to give shout out to Christians, and also a shout out to especially Iranian Christians who are heavily persecuted by the Islamic regime, especially Iranian Christian converts, right? Those Iranians who have left Islam and have converted to Christianity. Their lives are literally at risk because the Islamic regime jails and hangs anyone who is, who's converting, who has converted. So, to all the Christians who are watching this live stream, I very much appreciate your prayers, but I would ask if you can please, pray for Iranian Christians. Pray for the Iranian Christians, because they need your prayers much more than I do. And they are heavily persecuted by the Islamic regime. But thank you so much. So I just want to share this one super chat, because this one really, thank you. Like, this one really impacted me in a very positive way. But yes, please, just to all the Christians, please pray for your fellow Iranian Christians who are heavily persecuted right now and are being jailed and tortured and murdered by the Islamic regime, because they need your prayers much more than I do. And God bless you all. Thank you. And I will get to all the super chats at the end of the live stream when I'm done my geopolitical analysis. So going back to this post from President Trump, right? So President Trump is now calling out the Houthis. This is important because the Houthis are literally a proxy of the Islamic regime. The same way that Hezbollah occupying Lebanon, they're a proxy of the Islamic regime. Hamas is funded by the Islamic regime. In Iraq, you have Hashd al-Shabi and Kataib Hezbollah. Same thing. In Afghanistan, you have the Fatimiyun. Pakistan, I mean, pretty much all of Pakistan is like a proxy of the Islamic regime. Like, all of Pakistan is like a proxy, right? And then, of course, in Yemen, you have the Houthis, right? So this is what's interesting. So he's now calling out the Houthis, which basically means he's calling out the Islamic regime. And he's saying, the Houthis are starting up again, shooting at 2 Saudi Arabian ships last night. Please let this truth serve to represent that if they do this again, the US will hold Iran responsible, right? So by Iran, he means the Islamic regime, because President Trump understands that the Houthis are funded, controlled, and paid for by the Islamic regime, okay? So if the Houthis strike again, he's going to hold the Islamic regime accountable, which is exactly what should have been done from the very beginning. But no other president was bold enough or brave enough to call out the proxy war. So, when I and others say that the Islamic regime has been waging a 47-year proxy war against the rest of the world, this is what we're talking about. The Islamic regime was engaging in a war against the West through their proxy terrorist groups, and no one wanted to make that direct link. But President Trump is making that direct link, okay? And I'm glad that President Trump is calling out the Islamic regime. So, in terms of my geopolitical analysis, what this is signaling to me is that President Trump is escalating, and he is escalating exponentially, right? Like, I'm not seeing any signs of President Trump saying, no, we're going to back off. No, no, no. President Trump is escalating intensely because not only are they going after those bases that are engaged in boom booming US bases, but they're going after the proxies. Why is this important? Because remember, for the last 4 or 5 months, I have been constantly saying that President Trump, he has 5 very important terms, okay? 5 very important conditions that are part of the deal with the Islamic regime. What are those 5 conditions? Let me repeat them for you again. So, condition number 1 is ending the nuclear military program. Condition number 2 is allowing the United States to go to occupied Iran to remove the enriched uranium. Condition number 3 is, ending the ballistic missile program. Condition number 4 is reopening the Strait of Hormuz. And condition number 5, this is the one that's relevant. Condition number 5 is the Islamic regime agreeing to end its financial and military support for its proxy terrorist groups in the Middle East. That includes the Houthis, okay? The Islamic regime has always refused to stop support for its terrorist proxy groups. Okay? Remember, just like a few weeks ago, before the boom boom started, the Islamic regime was like, oh, we're not going to discuss the MOU until Israel stops attacking Hezbollah, right? And then President Trump was like, okay, yeah, fine, we'll tell Israel to stop boom booming Hezbollah. All right, Islamic regime, let's get back to the negotiation table. And the Islamic regime would constantly say, no, Israel's boom booming Hezbollah, so we're not going to do anything until Israel stops, even though Israel was never part of the discussion between the United States and the Islamic regime, right? So a lot of people were attacking, President Trump, and they were like, why is President Trump telling Israel what to do? And I was saying right from the get-go, President Trump is not telling Israel what to do because Israel is not part of the MOU between the United States and the Islamic regime. Israel is still doing its thing, but President Trump was pretty much exposing the Islamic regime, and he was exposing their interests, right? And the fact that the Islamic regime cared more about Hezbollah, and remember, on various live streams, previous live streams, I was sharing translated Durka footage of Durkas in occupied Iran who were freaking out over the fact that Israel was attacking Hezbollah, and no one was doing anything about it, right? And as you can see right now, all those people who were claiming that President Trump is throwing in Israel under the bus, well, what's been happening in the last 2 weeks? Israel's attacks against Hezbollah have intensified. And not only have those attacks intensified, but now President Trump is going after all the other terrorist proxy groups of the Islamic regime. And now he's calling out the Houthis. So, this to me is a definite sign of escalation, not de-escalation. right? Escalation. Because not only is President Trump going after the head of the octopus, right? He's going after the head of the octopus, which is the Islamic regime, but he's also going after all the arms at the same time. Like he's literally so if like the Islamic regime and all of its terrorist proxy groups are like, let's say a squid, President Trump is turning that squid into calamari. He's literally turning that squid into calamari, because he's not only going after the head, he's going after the tentacles. He's literally chopping it all up. Okay? Calamari. That's what I'm seeing happening here. Okay? So keep that in mind. And yeah, calamari is delicious. I don't like octopus. I'm not a fan of octopus because, octopus, they're actually very intelligent, right? Like octopus, they're almost as intelligent as human beings. So not a fan of octopus, but calamari, squid, yeah. Squid, I like squid. I like calamari. But the chop is happening, right? Because not only is he going after the head, he's going after the tentacles. Like in Persian, we say Trump dare rejimo tike pare mikone, right? So I guess in English that would be President Trump is he's shredding. He's shredding the Islamic regime. He's tearing them up, right? Someone is asking about His Royal Highness's speech. If you're talking about the speech that happened yesterday, I literally spent an entire episode going over His Royal Highness's speech yesterday. So if you want my analysis on his speech, go to Iran Revolution Day 195, which is from yesterday, and I go over the entire thing. Keep in mind, Iran Revolution Live is about the Iranian people's fight for freedom, and the Goldie Show is my geopolitical analysis of the boom booms between the United States and the Islamic regime. So there you go. I did an in-depth dive and coverage on that. So yeah, you can go and check it out there. And I have all of the latest analysis and input and comments on His Royal Highness's speech. All right, so let's get back to the breaking news and the boom booms. So I just want to bring up, where was I here? Okay, so that was from Shin. Now, the Islamic regime is still, just spouting their jihadi nonsense, saying that if our infrastructure is targeted, we will target the enemy's infrastructure several times over. Yeah, okay. I would love to see this. I would love to see this happen, right? Like the Islamic regime has no navy, no military, no nothing. Anyway, so CENTCOM, of course, started attacks and boom booms, right? So let me get to some of the footage here. So flying objects spotted. Here we go. Oh, wait. That's Gaza. We don't care about the Hamas terrorists. I mean, I'm glad they're dead. God bless Israel. I'm Israel High. Thank you for booming the Gaza terrorists, okay? Now, here's the other thing. Now, I actually have mixed feelings about the statement, and I'm going to explain why. Let me read the statement, and then I'll tell you why I have mixed feelings about this. So, President Trump is saying, please let this statement serve to represent until further notice that from this point forth, any and all damages done to ships, cargo, or anything related hereto will be paid for by Iranian money that the United States has in its possession and controls. These damages may be very substantial, but nevertheless, this is the fair and equitable thing to do. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So, I actually disagree with President Trump on this statement, and I'll explain why. The Islamic regime is not Iranian. The Islamic regime is a terrorist foreign Muslim Nazi group that is occupying Iran. The Islamic regime has dragged the Iranian people into this war that the Iranian people don't want, okay? And the Iranian people, right? Like 70% of Iranian people live below the poverty line because the Islamic regime is stealing all of their money and using it to fund their jihad. So, I mean, if this tweet, if this truth is meant to scare the Islamic regime, that's not going to work because the Islamic regime literally does not care about the Iranian people. The Islamic regime has said from the get-go that they are willing to go scorched earth. They are willing to rule over a destroyed Iran if that means they will still remain in power. Okay? And this here, but and I know a lot of you are saying, well, this is meant like to go after the IRGC. If that's the case, then if I was advising President Trump, I would say instead of saying Iranian money, say IRGC money, right? Because we already know that Scott Bessent has sanctioned a lot of IRGC companies, right? Those companies are profiting off of the stolen money of the Iranian people, right? So that's the only thing I would say. I would just say, like, just be more specific here. Be more specific. Because Iranians don't, like, we literally don't want this war. We're literally oppressed. We're oppressed. And, for example, you know, let me give you an example here, okay? So, for example, the cardboard supreme dictator, okay? Mojtaba, that we haven't seen or heard from, right? This Durka jihadi here. Let me pull up the Boom Boom Bingo sheet. Okay. This guy. He is like, this is gonna blow your minds, okay? This Durka is worth at least $138 million. Okay? Yes, you heard that correctly. This guy who is literally a garbage, like he's literally garbage. He's never accomplished anything in his life. Literally, like just the cardboard supreme dictator. We don't know if he's alive or dead. He is worth at least $138 million. Where did that money come from? By the way, his garbage dead dad, he was worth over $80 billion. Okay? This one, 80 billion. How is it that this uneducated, inbred, Durka garbage jihadi demon hellspawn is worth $80 billion. Oh yeah, Google says 94 billion. You know what? Well, so that's why I said at least 80 billion, right? So Goldie's always right because I said at least 80 billion. Yeah, guys, Khamenei, right? So remember, these are the same people who complain about the Shah of Iran, wasting Iranian money, okay? And yet, when they came to power, right? Like this is what Takia is all about because everything that they accuse others of, they're actually guilty of. So this guy, right? According to Google now, he's worth at least $94 billion. Where did you get $94 billion from? How does an inbred Durka all of a sudden gain $94 billion? Right? There you go. So yeah, that's why, all I want to say here is that don't go after Iranian money. Freeze the assets of, freeze the assets of the Islamic regime because that's the stolen money of the Iranian people. And by the way, just, a quick note, this here, this isn't going to deter the Islamic regime, okay? President Trump has already threatened to, go after the bridges, the power plants. Now he's threatening to go after Islamic regime money or Iranian money. That won't deter the Islamic regime because they literally don't care. They measure success through survival. So as long as they are in power, they will view that as a victory. So if I had the opportunity to advise President Trump, I would say, President Trump, with respect, you are not dealing with normal, rational, sane human beings. So stuff like this doesn't actually help you in any way because the Islamic regime will look at this and be like, all right, great. Like we can just continue doing what we want to do because we already have our billions of dollars in cryptocurrency in Swiss bank accounts. So if President Trump wants to, take money, fine, because we're already living our rich, lavish, luxurious lifestyles, right? So, President Trump, I would just say, don't go after the money, don't go after the bridges, don't go after, what are the power plants. Go after the Islamic regime itself. Go after the Durkas. Because the Durkas are the ones who are causing all of these problems. Now, I do want to go to Marco Rubio's statements from tonight. And, actually, before I do that, let me just do a quick update here. So, all right, let me share with you some of the most recent breaking footage of the boom booms because I know people want to see the boom booms. So here is footage from tonight of the boom booms in Ahvaz. Ahvaz is a city that I was born in. So this footage, remember earlier on in the live stream, I said that the intensity of the explosions is making people in Ahvaz think that perhaps the United States is booming underground missile cities. Let's watch this. And, I haven't seen this video yet, but let's see what happens. Wow. Okay. So, in the video, the guy says Zadan. Zadan means, oh, they hit them. So this is wild because you can see like the missile coming down and then you see like a light. Oh, okay, let's just watch this again. Right? So he's like Zadan. Zadan means they hit them. So again, like Iranians in my hometown of Ahvaz, durud be Ahvaz, durud be sharafetun. So my compatriots in Ahvaz are literally on the rooftops and they are recording the freedom missiles, right? Like the freedom seeds coming down to destroy the Islamic regime. There we go. So that's one. And here is another one. All right. So this is apparently another one from Ahvaz, my city from tonight. There you go. So, excuse me. Sorry guys. It's been a late night, long day for me, and I'm not in my usual place, but of course I will be here to give you all the breaking news. So again, like more blasts happening. Okay, and then CENTCOM a couple hours ago posted CENTCOM forces successfully completed the 13th straight night of strikes against Iran, July 23 at 9 p.m. Eastern. CENTCOM targeted Iranian military command centers, drone storage facilities, comms networks, coastal surveillance sites, and maritime capabilities to further diminish the threat Iran poses to civilian mariners and commercial vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The international waterway remains open for transit despite recent attacks from Iran's guys. Win CENTCOM. Thank you, CENTCOM. I mean, it's not Iran's IRGC, it's the Islamic regime's IRGC, but you know what? We'll take the win when we can get it. We'll take the win when we can get it. The fact that they're actually saying Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, I'll take that as a win, because for 47 years, they've been saying Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, right? And every time they say that, like, it's like we Iranians, we literally want to pull our hair out and be like, why? No, it's not Iranian, it's Islamic. So we will take this as a win. Even though it should be the Islamic regime's IRGC, still a win, still a win. Commercial vessels continue to freely navigate. More than 50,000 U.S. service members are currently operating across the Middle East. Well, you know what? First of all, God bless all of the American service members, and in honor of all of the American service members who are currently serving, let's watch this video. And of course, I'm going to provide my own music on top because the video has no audio. So let me put on the right. There we go. All right, guys. You all know which song I'm going to play. So get ready and let's enjoy the fireworks together.
Raptor fighter flying over the sea. If the
Okay, I have to stop it there because the song is so catchy, and if I let myself, I could literally just like I could just like sit here for 10 hours and just like dance to this song and just watch videos of CENTCOM booming the Muslim Nazis to hell over and over again, right? Because like this is just beautiful. God bless America. God bless CENTCOM. And of course, shared this in honor of all of the American, service members who are currently serving in the Middle East, right? Over 50,000 U.S. service members currently operating across the Middle East. God bless you all. God bless America. We love you, and thank you for everything that you are doing to free Iran from the Islamic regime. And once again, huge shout out to CENTCOM for differentiating between Iran, because remember, we Iranians, we love America. We Iranians, we are your allies. It's Islam, it's the Islamic regime, right? That started this whole jihad with the United States. So, huge shout out to CENTCOM for, calling it by its proper name, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, because what this war that's happening right now, this is a war between Islam and the West, right? So how this is literally like we're in the Crusades. We're literally in like the third iteration of the Crusades, right? Because the Crusades never stopped. The Crusades never stopped. And you're now dealing with the third wave of jihad. And so this is pretty much like the third wave of the Crusades, right? So just want to point that out. And by the way, remember, do not ever apologize for the Crusades. Don't ever apologize for the Crusades. Be proud. You should be proud of the fact that, you actually were successful in the Crusades, right? And I actually made a video about that, right? Because the jihadis are literally on like a world conquest, right? They basically want to destroy Western civilization and turn it into like an Islamic caliphate. So um, there's a reason why Pete Hegseth is the Secretary of War. Let me put it that way. There's a reason that President Trump chose someone who has a tattoo on his arm that says infidel in Arabic as a Secretary of War. Yeah. Did you guys know that? Did you know? Pete Hegseth has a tattoo on his arm that says kafar. Kafar is the Arabic word for infidel, aka enemy of Islam. Oh yeah. Yep. Oh, you guys didn't know? Oh, you did not know that. Nothing in politics is a coincidence. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no. Let me share this with you guys. And like all of like the Durka jihadis, they were freaking out. They were like, "Oh, Pete Hegseth is Islamophobic." Meanwhile, we Iranians, we were like, God bless the fact that, President Trump picked someone like Pete Hegseth, right? You see that? You see that right there on his arm? And it's literally right under Deus Volt, okay? So, not only does he have the tattoo, Deus Volt, he literally has a tattoo. Like this is in Arabic. This is in Arabic. However, the letters in Arabic and Persian are the same, so I can still read this, okay? So guys, I will translate this for you. So this part here, this is the letter K, okay? So this is K, and then this part here, this is the A. This is the A, okay? And then, do Iranians learn Arabic? No. Um, we don't. Like I don't know Arabic at all whatsoever. Um, so, the I would say, like, um if you want to compare like Persian to Arabic, that would be like comparing English to German, okay? So when you're like comparing English to German, for example, I mean, the letters are the same, but German has some letters and sounds that English doesn't have, and of course, certain letter combinations make different sounds, right? And then of course, like, um, I can read German words, but I have no idea what I'm saying, right? So, um, Arabic and Persian are very, very like two totally different languages. Um no, not even English to French, because English to French is more comparable. It would be like, I don't know, like English to like German or Swedish or something, right? Like just totally different languages. So anyways, let me go back to translating this, because I know what this is because I can read the letters. So, this is the letter K. This is the letter A. So this here, this part, like before the break, this says ka, because this is K and this is A. And then this here, this is the letter F. Okay, so the little like loop thingy here with the dot on top, that is the letter F. And then this here, this is the letter R. So this word literally says kafar. Kafar is the Muslim word for infidel. Okay. So, in the Muslim religion, if you are a kafir, that means that Muslims have the that means that Allah has given Muslims the right to murder you because you are a threat to Islam. Okay? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. President Trump, President Trump, literally, and God bless President Trump for doing this. President Trump literally chose as the Secretary of War a devout Christian man who not only has Deus Vult tattooed on his arm, but underneath that, he has Kafar, right? Which is a proud infidel, which means he's literally anti Durka. So, yeah, guys, nothing happens by accident. Nothing. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. David Sheridan is saying, my 7-year-old grandson loves your show. Oh my gosh. You know what? Tell your 7-year-old grandson that I appreciate him so much, and so glad that he is here and he is learning. And guys, for everyone in the live stream chat, this is literally why my show is family friendly, right? Like, I will go into the Durkas and I will do like a deep dive analysis of geopolitics, but this is why I have a very strict rule about no swearing and, no inappropriate comments in the chats, because we're here to educate. And I think it's so important that young children are encouraged to get involved in politics, because you know what, David Sheridan, um, I don't know if your grandson is watching right now or not, but if you see this part, share this part with your grandson. I want you to share this message from me to your grandson. Um, I'm so proud that your 7-year-old grandson is interested in politics and learning about politics. That to me is a sign of a very, very smart boy. And to me, I have a feeling that your grandson is going to do amazing things in the future. And so, our future generations are looking very, very bright. And I'm so excited for your grandson. And please encourage him to learn more about politics and the world, because ultimately it's politics that runs everything. And your grandson, he is going places. And our future here in the West is in good hands. So give your grandson a huge hug and a high five on my behalf. Thank you so much, David. That was such a nice comment. So there you go. Anyway, so going back to Pete Hegseth, right? So the COFAT, there you go. President Trump, this wasn't just a random thing, right? Every single thing that President Trump does, there's a reason behind it. So again, the fact that President Trump literally chose his Secretary of War to be someone who has the Arabic word for infidel tattooed on his arm? Coincidence? I don't think so. So keep that in mind. Anyways, I digress. Let's now go to Senator Marco Rubio, because, I wanted to save the best for last. Marco Rubio had a lot of things to say today, and he is sounding a little bit vindicated. And I'll explain why. Marco Rubio is not Iranian, obviously. He's Cuban. His parents are anyway. Like his background. Sorry, Senator, my apologies. Secretary of State, I apologize. Secretary of State, Pete Hegseth. I apologize. Anyways, but let's go to Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Okay? He understands what we Iranians are going through because he comes from the same background. Anyone who has escaped from a communist or totalitarian or any form of dictatorship, we know what it's like. And because Marco Rubio's parents and his family have lived through that, when it comes to Cuba, he understands exactly what the Iranian people are going through. And he has never been afraid to call it out. Guys, Americans, you guys are so blessed. You guys are so blessed to have someone like Marco Rubio. Again, I'm not American citizen, so I don't want to get involved in internal domestic politics. But, as someone who's, former politician, been in politics, I've met and dealt with so many garbage politicians, right? So many garbage people, garbage politicians. There's very few real ones in politics. Senator Lindsey Graham was a real one. God bless his soul. President Trump, 100% he's a real one. Marco Rubio, he is a real one. Marco Rubio is you guys need to protect Marco Rubio with your lives, right? Because Marco Rubio is literally a gift to the United States right now. Marco Rubio is worth his weight in saffron, not in gold, in saffron, okay? Let me just pull this up for you. All right, okay, never mind. The price of gold went up. The price of gold went up. So yeah, you know what? Saffron used to be more expensive than gold. However, the price of gold has gone up now. So we can't use that comparison anymore, unfortunately. But before like inflation, saffron used to be more expensive than gold, but we can't use that comparison anymore. So I take that back. Marco Rubio is worth his weight in gold. Marco Rubio is worth his weight in gold, and if I was an American citizen, I would protect this man at all costs. That's all I'm saying. I would protect this man at all costs because he knows what's going on. He knows what's going on. So let's watch this video from Marco Rubio that has been going viral.
Their Chinese counterpart.
What the hell is that? What is this? You're a court reporter? What's...
Did he just say what the H is that? Oh my gosh, he's so funny. You know what? I love that. I love when, like, you know, because I've done it so many times, but you know, like politicians just break character, and he's like, "What the heck is that?" Wow. There you go.
That's good. No.
Oh, and then I guess someone cut the mic.
It went quite long. Is that does that give the impression that the meeting was tense? And can you give us a sense of what you talked about?
To translate. You know, translations always take longer.
Yeah, and give us a sense of what you talked about.
Well, we talked a lot about the visit in September, and that was really the gist of it. It's just to create the groundwork for another positive visit. I think President Xi will have a very positive visit when he comes to Washington. Look, these are the two most powerful countries in the world, particularly economics. But also, I mean, we have to have a relationship, and obviously there are areas of great differences. Both sides will acknowledge that. We'll have to work through those, and I think these differences will exist for the foreseeable future. And our job is to sort of manage those so that they never get out of control. We're obviously always going to defend our national interests, and I expect they'll do the same as they define it. But I think there are some areas of potential cooperation. So the work we need to do now in September is to identify what those areas are so that we can lay the groundwork for a very positive visit to Washington and in September. And so we talked a lot about that.
Is there disagreement on election interference?
We didn't discuss that topic.
Mr. Secretary, are China and Russia giving targeting information to Iran? These last few attacks have been very devastating to U.S. troops.
Look, all I would say is that, any...
So I can answer that. Yes, China and Russia have been giving targeting info to the Islamic regime. In fact, we reported a while ago that China was sharing like satellite info with the Islamic regime, right? Let me pull this up. Where was it? Oh my gosh. Where was it? Nope. Like, it went viral a few months ago. Let me find it here for you guys. So sorry guys. Here we go. So this was literally reported back on March 15. Russia and China are providing military cooperation to Iran, according to the Iranian foreign minister, right? So that's according to IRGC. Remember, if you go to our Boom Boom Bingo sheet, that's this Durka here. So IRGC, right? So remember, this guy, this was actually during the interview that he had with NBC back in March. And he confirmed that China and Russia are assisting the Islamic regime with intel, okay? So the fact that, the media is now picking up on this, 6 months later, I mean, the Islamic regime already admitted this. You guys just didn't take them seriously, or you weren't paying attention, right? So it's literally wild to me that the Islamic regime says something like 6 months ago, and it's only now that the media is slowly picking up on this.
So we talked a lot about that.
Was there disagreement on election interference?
We didn't discuss that topic.
Mr. Secretary, are China and Russia giving targeting information to Iran? These last
Yes.
few attacks have been very devastating to U.S.
Yes.
troops.
Look, all I would say is that anytime you're in a combat zone like that, there's danger associated with it. I mean, at the end, this actually proves the point that this is what Iran has been investing its money in for the last
But are
20
China
years.
and Russia giving targeting information?
I'm not going to discuss that, other than to say that nothing that's happened, nothing that China has done has in any way changed the truth.
So when Marco Rubio says he's not going to discuss that, you can take that as a yes. It's literally yes. It's yes. Yes, China is giving targeting info to the Islamic regime. Yes.
Trajectory of what you're seeing in terms of the conflicts we're having with Iran, and in fact, in some cases, they've actually been quite cooperative with
In what
regards
way?
to what they potentially could have done but didn't do. I think the Chinese, and I'll let them tell you, but I don't think they're big fans of what Iran is trying to do in the Straits. In fact, they've said so publicly that they oppose tolling or any sort of restraint on freedom of navigation in the Straits, and we hope they'll continue to say that, and it's important that other.
So when Marco Rubio says, the Chinese are not fans of what the regime is doing, and then he says, we hope they'll continue to say that, okay? That's so, again, former politician translating political speak. So when Marco Rubio says, we hope the Chinese will continue to say that, that basically means that, the Chinese, like when he says Chinese, he means the CCP, right? So he's like, I hope the CCP is not lying, but I'm pretty sure they're lying, okay? That's pretty much what that translates to. So he's like, I hope the Chinese will continue to say that. Basically means they're lying, but I hope they prove me wrong. That's like politically correct speak for what he just said.
Countries say that as well.
President-
What Iran is trying to do in the Straits. In fact, they've said so publicly that they oppose tolling or any sort of restraint on freedom of navigation in the Straits, and we hope they'll continue to say that, and it's important that other countries say that as well.
President Trump was asked a similar question. I'd like to pose it to you. Is the U.S. strategy to strike Iran into submission? And why do you think Iran is not giving in right now? After
The United States is Iran's in a lot of trouble. I mean, at the end of the day, they obviously.
You know what? I actually have this whole narrative from the fake stream media is the U.S. strategy to strike Iran into submission. I mean, was that the narrative during World War II? Like, okay, legitimate question. During World War II, when the United States and their allies were booming Nazi Germany to hell, right, where they belong, was American media asking the American government, is your strategy to strike Adolf Hitler into submission? Like, did anyone at any point actually legitimately believe that they could come to some sort of peace deal with Adolf Hitler? So why is it that today, when the United States is dealing with the modern day version of the Muslim Nazis, why are they saying, is your strategy to strike the Muslim Nazis into submission? No, the strategy is to destroy them and send them back to hell where they belong, the exact same way that the United States and the Allies did in World War II with Nazi Germany and Adolf Hitler. Okay? Like, so for me as an Iranian, okay, I'm not even American, I'm not an American citizen. As an Iranian, when I hear the media like ask this question, as an Iranian, I'm like, how stupid are you? Like, how retarded are you? Literally, like retarded. And I don't use that word lightly, but how retarded are you that you are asking if your strategy is to bomb the Nazis into submission? And yet the media, they have the audacity to think that they know more about these sorts of things than the rest of us, right? Oops, my earphone fell. Anyways, let's continue with the live stream. I'm gonna grab my earphone and we'll continue. But yeah, like this really bothers me. This really bothers me because like the audacity of the media to be like, oh, so is your strategy to bomb the Iran into submission? Think about it. That's like the equivalent of a reporter during World War II asking the American government, is your strategy to bomb Adolf Hitler into submission? No, the strategy is to eradicate Adolf Hitler and the Nazis off the face of the earth because they're literally scum and they're garbage, right? Like that's strategy. Anyways, let's continue. I'll be right back so I can grab my earphone.
You don't have a free press that reports on the
I think Iran is not giving in right now. After
well, look,
the
United States is Iran's in a lot of trouble. I mean, at the end of the day, they obviously don't have a free press that reports on the. For example, you guys will report on the impact it's having on the U.S. economy and gas prices and this that. They don't have that in Iran, but I can tell you they're facing hyperinflation, runaway inflation, high food costs. These were all pre-existing. They've all gotten worse. They suffered a tremendous amount of damage to their military infrastructure, but they've also spent 20 years taking every penny they have and not spending it on their country. They spent it on sponsoring terrorist groups and building up their missiles and their drone systems. And this is what you're seeing them use now, which is greatly diminished, is exactly the conventional shield that they were going to hide behind to pursue a nuclear program and challenge the world to do anything about it. Or face the wrath of what they were doing. A year from now, Iran would have had so many missiles and drones that they would have been behind a conventional shield that would have given them immunity to do whatever they wanted. So right now, however, I can just say, here's what's happening. It's pretty straightforward. Ships are trying to go through the straits and they're getting blown up. Commercial ships are going through the straits and they're being blown up. The United States is defending that shipping and in addition is targeting the places that are launching against those ships to continue to degrade Iran's ability to target and harm global shipping. So that's what's happening here. And that's what we're focused on.
You mentioned this morning that Iran isn't keeping its commitment. So even if MOU is revived, what can be done to yield different results?
Well, look,
nothing can be done to yield different results because the Islamic regime is a murderous death cult. You want different results? Bomb them back to hell where they belong, and then you'll finally get a different result, because when you exterminate the Islamic regime, the different result will be that the Iranian people can rise up, reclaim the country, and end this garbage jihad. But the fact that this is what's insane to me. This is literally what's insane to me. The media is attacking the United States as if they are somehow at fault for the fact that a bunch of insane Muslim Nazis are attacking the United States. And they're blaming the behavior of the Muslim Nazis on President Trump's administration instead of blaming everything that's going on Jimmy Carter and the Democrats. Because keep in mind, it was Jimmy Carter and the Democrats who helped the Islamic regime come to power. The media knows this, but they're actively ignoring this fact, right? Because what the media should, instead of attacking Marco Rubio like this, what the media should be doing, if they had actually done their research, okay, if they knew their history, Instead of going after Marco Rubio, they would be going after the Democrats right now, and they would be asking the Democrats, do you regret the fact that Jimmy Carter helped bring the Islamic regime into power? Do the Democrats openly denounce the Islamic regime that the Democrats endorsed back in 1979? Do the Democrats apologize for the fact that because of their terrible foreign policy decision, they are responsible for the murder of thousands of American soldiers because they helped bring this Islamic regime to power, right? That's what the media should be doing. But instead, they're attacking Marco Rubio as if he is somehow at fault for the fact that Jimmy Carter and the Democrats brought in the Islamic regime back in 1979. It's literally insane. Like, it's insane watching it. This is next level gaslighting.
Is revived. What can be done to yield different results?
Well, look, all these things are compliance-based, right? I mean, if you make a deal, if you sign on to an agreement and then you violate the agreement's no longer valid. That doesn't mean you can't have a future agreement, but ultimately that future agreement will have to be judged on whether or not you're complying with the conditions. And that deal called for the opening of the straits, free and fair navigation. In fact, they were supposed to put out a statement to that regard a week and a half ago. And instead, on the day they were supposed to put out that statement, instead of doing that, they targeted and blew up or hit a ship. So we remain open to diplomacy. We remain open to working it out in a negotiated way. But right now, they don't seem to be serious about that. And so we're going to continue to protect shipping. We think other countries should join us in that endeavor. We don't need them to, but they should, because they're more impacted by it than we are. And at the same time, we are going to, when the opportunity presents itself, degrade their ability to target global shipping.
China's been sending its Coast Guard in. China's been sending its Coast Guard in toward Taiwan, doing patrols near Taiwan. I know the U.S. has said this has been destabilizing. Did you raise that with Wong?
It always comes up in every one of our meetings because we obviously disagree with those actions, and we actually think that they run contrary to the spirit of what we're trying to work out with them. With regards to strategic stability. But the bigger point to make in that regard is that the U.S. will continue to, we're never going to accept that international waterways are somehow under the control of other countries. We'll continue to sail through international waterways and freedom of navigation efforts of that kind, and we'll continue to live up to our commitments, for example, with the Philippines and other countries in terms of the treaty commitments that we have. Again, it speaks to areas of disagreement when it comes to our policies with China. Those need to be managed very carefully because obviously a conflict, be it economic or otherwise, between the U.S. and China would have a dramatic global impact.
Okay, so that's just the part that I wanted to share about Marco Rubio, but I also wanted to share this clip by President Trump. And then I have some footage of the very, very intense boom booms that are happening all across occupied Iran.
We're doing very well against the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Oh my God, guys! He said it. Did you notice that? President Trump, he did not say we're doing very well against Iran. He said we are doing very well against the Islamic Republic of Iran. Guys, look at that. Look at that. Okay, guys, is this the first, guys, President Trump has written Islamic Republic of Iran, but I think this is the first time, like, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, let me know, and let me know where and when he said it, because I want to go back and watch that, but I feel like this is the first time. This is the first time I've actually heard him say Islamic Republic of Iran. Like, he's written it in his Truth Social posts. We've seen the Truth Social posts. But has anyone actually heard him say out loud Islamic Republic. Look at that. Like all the Iranians, who are watching. There's okay. No, I know he's written it. But if he's actually said it before, let me know, because again, guys, like I've been away, I've been on the road traveling for the last, week or so. So I haven't been able to see every single press conference, but usually President Trump just says Iran. He doesn't actually say Islamic Republic, right? Oh my gosh, guys. We have to watch this again. This is like the fact that he said this is almost as good as, like, okay, it's not as good, but it's almost as good as when he announced that Khamenei is dead, right? Like this is like right up there with the Khamenei is dead speech.
We're doing very well against the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yes.
We're doing extremely well. They would like to do something, but I say they're not ready yet. They need more of the same. They're not ready yet. They got some evil intent.
They need more of the same. He basically means they need, okay, guys, I need to watch that again. Just the way he pauses and he's like, Islamic. I love that. God bless President Trump.
We're doing very well against the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yes.
We're doing extremely well. They would like to do something, but I say they're not ready yet. They need more of the same. They're not ready yet. They got some evil intentions. We cannot let them have a nuclear weapon. If we did all this that I'm talking about your data centers, isn't that important? When they start blowing away communities one by one, we cannot let them ever even think about having a nuclear weapon. And that's exactly what's happening. They'll never have a nuclear weapon. And by the way, this should have been done by they've been saying 47 years now for about 3 years, but this should have been done for 50 years by other American presidents or other countries. Didn't have to be us, but it seems to, if we don't do it, nobody else is. But I will, and nobody else has the capability to do it either. We built, in my first term, the greatest military anywhere in the world, and we're using it a little more than I thought, but that's all right. We had Venezuela that Chris is doing a fantastic job, and we've paid for the cost of that war many times over. We're taking millions and millions of barrels of oil, and it's going to Houston and Louisiana. You know that. You see those ships lined up.
Wow. Guys, wow. Look at the pause. Guys, look at this.
We're doing very well against the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yes.
We're doing extremely well. They would like to do something, but I say they're not ready yet. They need more of the same.
Guys. They need more of the same. This is basically President Trump saying we are going to kotak them to hell where they belong. President Trump is saying we are going to kotak the Islamic regime to hell. And, we do have a lot of new viewers. So all of our pop quiz time, Iranians, you can't answer this question. For all of our non-Iranian viewers, what does kotak mean? It's now your opportunity to teach our new viewers. When we say President Trump is kotaking the Islamic regime, right? What does that mean? Exactly. Kick ass, beat down, to attack. There you go. Yeah, kotak. There you go, kotak. So President Trump is saying he's going to give them more of the same. Oh my gosh, I need to watch that again. That's so good. After all of this, news about the Islamic regime murdering Iranians, the statement from Marco Rubio and now this statement from President Trump really, it gives me energy. It gives me energy.
We're doing very well against the Islamic Republic of Iran. We're doing extremely well. They would like to do something, but I say they're not ready yet. They need more of the same. They're not ready yet. They got some evil intentions. We cannot let them have a nuclear weapon. If we did all this that I'm talking about your data centers, isn't that important? When they start blowing away communities one by one, we cannot let them ever even think about having a nuclear weapon. And that's exactly what's happening. They'll never have a nuclear weapon. Under the And by the way, this should have been done by other. They've been saying 47 years now for about 3 years, but this should have been done for 50 years by other American presidents or other countries. Didn't have to be us, but it seems to. If we don't do it, nobody else is. But I will, and nobody else has the capability to do it either. We built in my first term the greatest military anywhere in the world, and we're using it a little more than I thought, but that's all right. We had Venezuela that Chris is doing a fantastic job, and we paid for the cost of that war many times over. We're taking millions and millions of barrels of oil, and it's going to Houston and Louisiana. You know that. You see those ships lined up.
Now, guys, I also wanted to share something else that is incredibly significant. I'm sure you've seen the breaking news, but I really do need to share this again. Okay. So, as you all know, because I know many of you watch 2C, and for those of you who don't watch 2C, make sure that you go and subscribe to 2C TV and watch all of his news alerts, because 2C gives us, the latest breaking, most recent and most accurate analysis on what's happening in occupied Iran. Okay. So, 2C recently reported, that there's, Keir Starmer has stepped down. There's a new, prime minister for the UK. Oh, yes. And 2C has the best hair. Literally, he has the best hair. My hair is number two, but 2C is number one in everything. So anyways, but there is a new prime minister in the UK, and it's very interesting because it seems as if the UK is now having a drastic policy shift when it comes to the Islamic regime. Here you go, guys, like this is huge. This is a huge, significant development. Watch this.
Fox News alert, bombs away.
That was Arabic, by the way.
Central Command delivering devastating blows against Iran. Targets include missile and drone facilities, coastal surveillance sites, and air defense. B-1 bombers tore into the mullahs for the first time since the ceasefire. The long-range jets packed with 2,000-pound bombs flying at the speed of sound. Our electronic warfare aircraft also headed into theater, deployed out of Maine. They're stopping over in the UK. Now, it jams enemy communications, radars, and navigation. And they're only in the fight when it's a real one. Once Iran caught wind, they threatened to bomb the British base. Good luck. Our F-16 Wild Weasels are back in action. Their motto, first in, last out. You fly into enemy territory, detect radars, destroy them, and clear the battle space for everybody else. Trump wants revenge.
Karachi, their foreign minister, who the other day say or something about their policies, an eye for an eye. The president's policy is a head for an eye. I mean, honestly, that's what it's going to be. I mean, they will pay a very heavy price.
Marco says the mullahs are on their knees and begging anybody with a pulse to bail them out.
I hope that they'll stop. They shouldn't really do that. They got suckered into this by the Iranians. You know, the Houthis largely were smart and stayed out of all this. throughout the conflict. But they now apparently have gotten themselves suckered into this, going after Saudi Arabia and their ships. And by the way, that's, I was reading reports a few hours ago that there was actually a Saudi fuel ship that's flagged Chinese. It's a Chinese ship. Are they going to blow up the Chinese ship? And this becomes a problem for China. This will become a problem for the whole world.
This could open up a second front. The Houthis claim they're blockading the Red Sea, but they're not. They did clip some tankers. One of them, a Saudi ship, now leaking oil into the water. This could snarl commerce. Today, oil closed over $100 a barrel. The commander-in-chief says if Iran or its proxies hit a ship, repair costs are coming out of their pocket. All their frozen cash we're holding, we'll just wire it to the ship company to plug the holes. Trump's considering a massive attack against Iran, bigger than Epic Fury. He says Israel would jump in, but we don't need them right now. And this just in. We're learning European diplomats are evacuating Iranian embassies. They must know something. Now, suddenly, Iran wants to come back to the table, but the president says no. Quote,
Good.
They haven't felt enough pain yet.
Iran is begging us, okay, both directly and indirectly. Let's do a deal. Let's talk. Iran is begging every day. The problem with Iran is every time they make a deal, the people that are in charge there, they either break it or they want to change it. So it looks like they're not ready to make a deal. So they're going to continue to pay a price. And they're going to, every night the price
They'll
gets
never
higher
be
and
ready
higher
to
and
make
higher.
a deal.
And that's what's happening now.
So just FYI, they will literally never, ever be ready to make a deal. So, yeah, the strikes are literally intensifying. We just finished the 13th day of strikes against the Islamic regime. They've intensified exponentially. And given what Secretary of State Marco Rubio said today, where, he's saying, oh, the Islamic regime says an eye for an eye, we're saying a head for an eye. So the way that I see it, like, all signs are leading towards escalation. So, I mean, I don't want to be too early in my analysis, but based on everything that I'm seeing so far, this looks like possibly the beginning of the end for the Islamic regime. Based on the messages coming from His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi, based on what President Trump is saying, based on what Marco Rubio said today, based on Pete Hegseth's comments, and of course CENTCOM. I mean, unless something drastic happens tomorrow and one of these factors changes, my current analysis based on everything that I'm seeing is that the boom booms will continue to escalate. And given what I've seen within the Islamic regime itself, like, they're literally freaking out, and they're scrambling because they're trying to like they're trying to figure out how can they openly come to the negotiation table and pretend as if like they're in power or they're in the position of strength. They literally can't. Like, it's just they've lost so much that they can't. If they go back to the negotiation table right now, they will look like the losers. And if they even appear as if they're the losers, they're going to lose whatever little support they have left. This is why they're intensifying the executions of Iranian people. Of course, I get more into that on Iran Revolution Live, so you can go watch that to get more of an understanding on why the Islamic regime is murdering Iranian people. But yeah, like, again, like, my analysis, it could change tomorrow, right? Like, if there's like some drastic change, then that will impact my analysis. But as of right now in this live stream, based on everything I'm seeing, it's literally like full steam ahead towards the complete and total eradication of the Islamic regime. Now, let me go to your questions and comments, and then I will have to end the live stream because it is incredibly late where I am. It's almost 3 a.m. Here in Prince Edward Island, and I do have to call it a night, but I will be back tomorrow with more news and more analysis. So I just want to thank all of you for being here. But yeah, I will definitely go to your questions and comments now. So, oh, De Evil became a new member. Welcome, De Evil, to Goldie's gang. iChurch Cafe sent this message earlier, but I just wanted to share it again. So they say, God bless and keep you. Much love and many blessings from Texas. Thank you very much. God bless America. God bless Texas. God bless all Americans. God bless President Trump. And of course, God bless the U.S. military. Praying for all of you as well. Laszlo says, down with the Houthis. Already got the blowfish. Oh my gosh, that's such a lame joke. Wait, is that? Oh my gosh, that's it's Hootie. It's Hootie and the blowfish, not Houthi and the blowfish. But that is a pretty funny joke. I do appreciate that one. That made me laugh. That made me laugh. iChurch Cafe says, I just watched my house float away in the 4th of July floods, rebuilding for the second time in a year, but I can rebuild. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's wow. But I can rebuild. What you are doing is shining light on people losing their lives. Much love. Oh my God, that is so kind of you to say, but oh my gosh, like losing your house for the second time in a year, that's difficult. I mean, that's not an easy thing to go through. Like I can't even begin to imagine seeing my house just float away for, the second time in 2 years. So, God bless you. God bless your resilience and, praying for your safety. Oh my gosh. SE became a new member. Welcome to Goldie's gang. Aston Martin, Jesus saves lives, Islam destroys lives. God bless you and God bless Iran. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And like I've said, there's a reason that less than 30% of Iranians are Muslim, and Christianity is the fastest growing religion in occupied Iran. Zoroastrianism is the second fastest growing religion, but the fact that Christianity is the fastest growing religion, you guys can, come to the conclusion yourselves as to why that might be the reason. Push-ups, one correction. In Christianity, you don't get to heaven by being good. You get to heaven by believing in Jesus as a savior. You know what? You're absolutely correct. So thank you for correcting me on that. But again, Christianity, beautiful religion based on love. Robert Gentry says, thank you, Goldie. More prayers and support from Texas for the Iranian people. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. May freedom come quickly. Jobicha. Thank you for your prayers and blessings, guys. So to all the Americans watching, you guys already know that I am a little bit biased. Texas is literally my favorite state. Like I love Texas. Texas is like if I had to pick a place, like if I, let's say in another dimension, if I was an American citizen, I would be a Texan. Like it's just like Texas is just like my people. Like I feel at home in Texas. Blue Sky, Goldie, do you believe the IRGC will carry out their threats to invade Kuwait? This will result in a ground war with the US. So, I don't actually think that they're going to invade Kuwait because they don't have the military capability to do so. This is just them trying to pretend to be strong. Keep in mind, like, even though Iraq um, is occupied by Islamic regime Durkas. Wait, sorry, I just saw this comment here and I had to respond. Oh no, Mississippi will forgive you. Oh, you know what? That's okay. You know, guys, Mississippi is also all the states are amazing. All the states are amazing. I just don't know if I could like live in Mississippi because I would always like try to figure out, okay, wait, how many S's and how many P's, right? Like I would just get confused. But listen, all American states are amazing states. So there you go. But okay, going back to this comment. So I don't actually like they don't have the military capability to invade Kuwait. Okay, so keep in mind, the United States right now is literally like booming the Islamic regime to hell, right? And let me like share this footage because I had this footage. Where'd it go? I think it was like I saved it in my it was here you go. Here you go. So this is literally now this is not confirmed yet. Okay, so this is unconfirmed, but we are seeing some wild, like absolutely wild boom booms coming. Sorry. Some absolutely wild and intense boom booms, okay? And the only reason that this is even possible is because the Islamic regime does not have control over their skies. Okay, so let's watch this. So, this is in Bandar Abbas. Again, like they're not attacking civilian areas. The United States, they are attacking IRGC bases. However, the point here is that all of these attacks by the United States are literally happening, and there's no interception. So, um, I don't actually think that the Islamic regime has the capability to invade Kuwait. They're doing this as like a pretend show of force because they're desperate. They don't know what else to do. Here's the thing. Remember, the Islamic regime uses their military equipment against the Iranian people. So they use the military to suppress the Iranian people. If the Islamic regime were to, let's say, for some insane reason, if they were actually going to invade Kuwait, that would actually mean that all of their assets and resources, like whatever's remaining, are all focused on Kuwait, which would leave them incredibly vulnerable to the Iranian people. And then the Iranian people could rise up much more easily and overthrow the Islamic regime, which would then end the conflict with Kuwait. So I don't actually think that the IRGC will invade Kuwait unless they're literally insane. I mean, that's the other thing, right? Like the answer that I'm giving to you is the answer of a logical, rational, normal human being. The Islamic regime are literally 7th century inbred Durkas. So I don't know if they're making the same logical analysis that I am, right? They may very well be so insane that they actually believe that they have the military capability to invade Kuwait. And if they actually did do that, then the Iranian people would use that opportunity to rise up and overthrow them, and then that would end the conflict in Kuwait. So yeah, it's honestly, it's actually really hard to predict what the Durkas will do. It is. Like anyone who claims that they can predict Durka, no, because Durkas don't operate within like a logical framework. So, but if the Islamic regime, you know what? Omid said this very well. This is the best way to describe it. If the Islamic regime were to try to invade Kuwait, that in and of itself would be the last thing they ever do. Let's put it that way. Let's just put it that way. Great way to summarize that, Omid. And then we have a comment from Aston Martin. People like Hassan Piker, AOC Mamdani, etc., communist socialists and Islam have infected the US. Our media is mostly controlled by the left. That's why we have divisive language like that. Yeah, I agree. And like you guys have an uphill battle, but you need to start now because these people have literally invaded and infiltrated, and they're indoctrinating the youth. And the youth today are going to be the future leaders of tomorrow. So I really hope that like I know Laura Loomer and a few others have said that the FBI or whoever is like investigating these people and like where the money comes from. I really hope that this is true, and I really hope that the FBI or the CIA or whoever is looking into this takes this threat very seriously. Like this is a very serious, legitimate threat. XSU became a new member. Welcome to Goldie's gang. Kylia says, my better half, Mick, and I celebrated when we heard President Trump say IRGC, lowercase intended. Thank you. We are Aussies and have fallen in love with the brave Iranian people and His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi, thanks to Goldie and Tusi. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That made my night. And comments like these are the reason why I'm literally up at 3 a.m. sharing the news and my analysis. Like you guys give me the energy and the motivation to continue. So thank you so much. And thank you for your support all the way from the beautiful land down under. God bless Australia. I can't wait until I have the opportunity to visit at some point very soon. iChurch says, if I could not live in Texas, I would most likely move to the United States. You're welcome in Texas anytime. Much love and many blessings from Texas. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, Texas is amazing. All U.S. states are amazing. Like American people, just amazing, right? Like you're all just phenomenal, and we appreciate you so much. Sam Channel says, IRGC penguins pooping their pants when spooked by US-Israel bombs. Yeah, absolutely. They're literally freaking out, and they are absolutely terrified. Okay, guys, so I just wanted to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's evening edition of The Goldie Show. Again, we've gone over the analysis, for the latest breaking news. Of course, there's 2C, there's Shin, there's the OSINT accounts, but guys, oh my gosh, like based on everything that I've seen, guys, like I've been monitoring the situation every night since all of this started, and it's intensifying. Like do you literally see the dark circles under my eyes right now? This is how much sleep I get because I'm constantly just like monitoring the news and getting ready for my live streams, right? Because guys, I don't want to call it. I can't call it yet. I can't call it yet, but I have a feeling that we may be in the end game. We may be in the end game. Okay. I don't know if we're there yet, but given all the signs, and then of course, given what Marco Rubio said today, a head for an eye, oof, like that is literally the opposite. That is the opposite of escalation. Sorry, de-escalation. That is the furthest thing from de-escalation, right? Like when Marco Rubio said, we're going to go for, if they say an eye for an eye, we're going to say a head for an eye. Like Marco Rubio just took the situation from like here to like here with like one statement, right? So there you go. Based on everything that I'm seeing tonight, my overall analysis about the current conflict between the United States of America and the Muslim Nazis, aka the Islamic regime occupying Iran, is that all signs continue to point towards the destruction of the Islamic regime. Of course, pending some crazy news or policy shift, we can't predict that, but as of right now, based on what I'm seeing, that's what the prediction is showing. As always, I'm Goldie Ghamari. You have been watching The Goldie Show. And of course, as always, now you know. I will see all of you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, in honor of all the Americans, I will end with this song. So see you guys tomorrow.
Ayatollah Khamenei is dead.
مرگ بر خامنه مای بر خامنه مای بر خامنه Chanted death to America for decades on the mic, while beating girls, hanging men, massacring the rights. Tens of thousands vanished in your prisons deep. Wives and sons still weeping, but you lost no sleep. Proxy wasn't missiles, resistance was the brand, but missiles flew in faster than your body could stand. You were evil, not the West. Revenge is here, no time to rest. Stupid games, stupid prizes. The butcher vaporizes. Mark by Khamenei. The mullahs on their knees. Hijab police beating bullets into peace. Human rights crushed, blood all over the place. You used terror, starved your people thin, but bombs wiped out your dirty grave. Your empire's in ashes. Supreme liar crashes. Death to Khamenei. Iran rises from its knees. Stupid games, stupid prizes. The butcher vaporizes. Marked by Khamenei. The mullahs on their knees. 86 years of lies and chains, now Tehran parties in the flames. From Khomeini to you, the same old deadly game, but 4-4 finally came. Marg bar Khamenei, 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 forever. Stupid games, stupid prizes. knees.